Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you were joining us from. My name is Jay LaBeouf, and I lead business development here at Descript. For the next hour or however long you are willing to stay with us, I will be your live guide into Descript, the desktop app. Descript is a platform for editing audio and video just as simply as editing text. And today we're going to focus on screen recording. It's a feature that we made free for all Descript users. Yes, even the trial accounts, even the free accounts at some enterprise companies, and of course with the pro accounts. So you can now record content on Mac or Windows, doing real-time screen recording of your screen, of your webcam, capturing high quality audio from your mic, generating a transcript of it in real time, sharing it with people, and yes, even using Descript to edit it quickly. We're going to walk through screen recording, and one of the use cases I'm going to focus on is actually how you would go about doing some really cool stuff for customer support. So those of you that are handling customer support in your organizations, which is kind of everybody, we should all be handling customer support and interacting with our customers. We're going to show you some great ways that you can actually interact with content. Speaking of interaction, I don't want to do this alone. Right now, I'm talking to a camera and a mic, and I have no idea who's there. So do me a favor, let me know where you're joining us from by adding a comment in the YouTube comments bar. Just say where you are. I'm in San Francisco. Good morning. Who else do we have here? Quinn, thanks for saying hello. And I'll take the first question. Does Descript work on Big Sur yet? I expect that question a lot. It does not work yet. We have engineers working on it right now, and check the help center. Just type in Big Sur, and we'll have updates there for you. And trust me, we'll let you know as soon as it's ready. All right. Hello from Manhattan Beach, Jacob in Wyoming. Thank you all for joining. And again, our goal today is to help you out with your workflow. So hit me up with any questions you have as we go along. Chris is behind the scenes. Chris is leading our content at Descript, and he'll pop up questions. And if you see somebody jump in and answer you, that's also Chris. Okay, let's dive in. So I received a question from a user. Admittedly, I had somebody on our team write this question in, but this actually happens all the time. The question is, I am trying to add captions to a video, and I want the captions to appear on the video itself for Instagram, but I also want to generate an SRT, which is the kind of the captions file, the SRT captions for YouTube. So we get these type of questions all the time. And the default way that people would do this is, you know, you maybe we'd hope that they search on the Descript website for the answer. But this one, I don't think there's a good answer for this right now of how to generate captions, and particularly the way it's worded on the screen. So what I'm going to do now, imagine I'm in customer support, or I'm in product marketing, or I'm a customer success manager. I get a question in that looks like what's on the screen right now. And my goal is to figure out how to reply to that. So I could type up something in a text description. That's cool. But it's actually far easier and more informative to show a customer, to show someone else in your team how to do something with video. And I'm going to show you how I would go about doing this with Descript, with the screen recorder. And then also I'm going to show you that, you know, after you've recorded the video, it's worth about 2 more or 3 more minutes of extra effort to make this evergreen content to help build up your support center and your help center. Because if you're going to go through this effort, don't just do it once. Just systematize this, make it a best practice and a good habit. So with that, let's pull up my screen. So I am sharing a huge amount of stuff on my screen right now. For those of you that are going to say, Jay, can you please zoom in and just show the Descript screen? I actually am showing my entire monitor because I want to show you what's in the menu bar right now. So if you look in the menu bar on Mac and then in the Windows system tray on Windows, there's this little Descript icon. Click on the Descript icon, and this is the free screen recorder that we install for you. So Here you can adjust some basic settings. You can adjust which camera you're going to use for your webcam, which microphone you're going to select. I'm using my Blue Yeti X. You can select whether you want to record computer audio. This is really useful because a lot of times I'm demoing something with Descript and I want to have the sound relayed with it as well. And then this last piece, do you want it to be transcribed as you're typing or as you're speaking on the screen recording? I recommend that you have this option clicked all the time because not only is this great for sending content that is accessible for customers that really need this content and have a different learning style and need to see it, but also you're going to use this to edit the content in Descript. Now in this ... menu, you can see that there's a whole bunch of preferences. Again, you have to probably zoom in a bit. I'll do that at a different time. But here I can adjust the keyboard shortcut commands and all the things like, launch it, login, flip camera, and where to store this content. I'm going to store this in my work drive. Glad I saw that. Very good. Cool. Then this bottom thing, you can see all the things that you've previously screen recorded. And let's get to it. So, Chris, why don't you pop up that question again so we can remind everybody, somebody wrote in a question. Hey, I'm trying to find how to add captions to a video of mine, and I want the captions to appear on the video itself. All right. Very cool. Thank you very much. We're good to go. So I want to show them how to add captions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new composition. So I did just Command N. I'll say, first, I need a video to demo. So this is something that the customer, they already have a video. So I'm just going to take this Zoom video, drag this in here to start it transcribing. In case you've never seen this before, this is the kind of the core of how Descript works. Drag in audio or video. If you want it to detect different speakers in there and label them, just tell it. So I conducted this interview. There were 3 of us. I'm going to click on automatic transcribe. In the upper right, there's a ... which shows that all your content has been saved to the cloud. Descript's totally a collaborative platform. So like a Google Docs, you can go in here and share this, and I can invite friends and colleagues and other editors to work on this content, give them access to this. They could edit this content for me or contribute to it. So here, I'm just gonna get this video transcribed. So transcribing a video, this is basically, it should just take about 2 to 3 minutes to transcribe an hour of content. Now for really, really short pieces, it might take, 20, 30 seconds because there's a lot of overhead involved in syncing the audio to the cloud and other technical reasons I'm not going to go into. But you can see our content's 100% transcribed. And so here we have our transcription. And let's just run with this for now. As you can see, I have transcript. I'm going to hit play. You can kind of see a little bit of it.
So I'm a huge fan of her.
Amazing. Heather, how about you? What are you listening to?
Yesterday, I actually went and pulled out.
Awesome. So here we have, this is a good example of just some very basic transcriptions that we have. I'm going to run the speaker detection on it. And so I'm going to click on this media library and just kind of do this manually. I think I forgot to do this. Click on detect speakers. This is going to run in the background, and it's going to pop up the speaker labeling wizard. This is basically an algorithm that goes through and looks at all the different people in your file, and it's going to detect who's speaking and when they are speaking. So while that's running, let me do one more file just as a test example. I will drag in this example of me speaking. Again, another short video. And this one's just me, so I'll just have that transcribe as well. All right, cool. So now I've got my video in here. Now it's time to share with the customer what is actually going on and what our captions look like. So now I'm going to start screen recording, and I'm going to walk the customer through their question, through the answer to their question of how do you add captions, how do you generate an SRT file and add this to the help center. Okay, here we go. So first, start screen recording. I'm going to select, so I'm already using my webcam for this, so I'm not going to have my webcam on. You could very easily. I can just kind of show you, here's my webcam right here. I'm not going to have this because I'm already using it for this live stream, so I'm just going to turn that off for now. Set this to none. All right, got my everything going. Computer audio, I'm going to turn this off because I'm not going to be playing anything to them. And then I'm going to start screen recording. When I click on start screen recording, it's going to share everything here. So I'm going to select the Descript window, and then I'm going to go for it. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to restart this. Hi, thanks so much for your question about how to add captions to your video. So if you look at my Descript screen, here we have the video that we have. Hi, thanks for your question about how to add captions to a video. As you can see right here, we're in Descript, and this is the video with the transcript. Now, if you wanted to fix anything in the transcript, of course, you can click on correct text mode, make any adjustments. And of course, there's our speaker labels, so you could adjust who is speaking and when they're speaking. For now, I'll skip right over that. What I want to show you is how to add captions to this. So there's a few ways of doing it. If you want them to appear on Instagram, the best way to do it would be to select all and then do Command K. Now, Command K, if you're not familiar with it, is our wonderful keyboard shortcut that basically does everything. That's the conductor. So you just tell Descript what you want it to do, such as insert captions. In Descript, we call them fancy captions. Nothing but the fanciest for everybody here. Now you already see a captions bar appearing. Now,
Heather and Amanda. Hey,
you can
everybody.
see them starting to appear on the bottom of the screen. Clicking on fancy captions and clicking on this inspector, I can actually adjust what they look like. So I'm going to maybe do this and do it as 2 rows of text. Put it up a little bit higher.
Called Son and Star.
Okay, that is a little too high.
Artist called Son and Star. That was a nice way to get my.
I like how that looks, especially below this Zoom video. If you wanted to, of course, I could also adjust the font, adjust the color, do a background color. So if this wanted to do it on nice blue, you could. Maybe that's not too bad. I am just going to go for nice classic white on a black background, and I think that looks pretty good. So these are burned in. All you need to do now is actually export this video, because you said you wanted to put it on Instagram. So I would click on share button and then export video, the current composition. I'm going to export it as an MP4 video. All these settings look good. I'm going to have normalize on, so it makes it kind of sound loud and proud. I'm going to adjust the dimensions. You can adjust the dimensions here, or also in the upper right, where it says composition. My mouse is going around it right now. You can adjust the frame rate or the composition size there as well. So a couple of different places. So for Instagram, let's say I'll go with these dimensions, high video quality, click on export, and no need to wait around. You're good to go. So that's going to render in the background. The other thing you can do, you mentioned that if you're going to export this video, sure, you can put it on Instagram, but if you want to put it on YouTube, YouTube supports the SRT files, the VTT files. So just click on export, subtitles, and here you can see SRT and VTT. These are both very common on the internet. So you can just, sometimes I just export both when I don't know what a platform needs. You can make adjustments to the characters and the card lengths, whether to include the speaker names in here. I'm not going to do that for now. Export SRT, and then I'll also export the VTT file, just in case I need it. Okay, so those are sitting in my downloads folder, and then my video export is basically done. There you go, dear customer. Thank you for your question, and I hope this helps you out. Okay. So I finished my screen recording, and now I have some choices. I got through it. I made a couple of mistakes. I also referred to the customer as dear customer. That's kind of weird. A couple of things that I'm going to want to fix in this. So now, no need to share my entire screen after I do one more thing. You've recorded this screenshot. There's a couple things you can do with it. So the first thing would be, let's say you actually have a screen recording and you want to just share it with the customer right away. So in the Descript menu bar, just click on this, and then I can see something that was recorded less than a minute ago. So you see you have an option for copy the link, for edit it. If you just click on it, it's going to open it in a Chrome tab. And when it opens it in a Chrome tab, it's actually going to show you the video that you recorded and then allow you to just basically just share this exactly as is. And what's cool is it has the video as, oh, let me just actually show you what it looks like. Hold on. There we go. Great. So I basically clicked on the Descript button and I clicked here. If you want to copy the link, just hover over it. But if not, paste this Chrome tab. And here you go. This is what it looks like. So you can see my transcript of it in real time. And this is really useful for sharing this, again, with a customer who can now see you walk through it. They can go right to the point where you, let's say, you can just like click on the part that somebody's explaining something to you. This makes it also really easy for them to rewatch the content. And rather than just having a video that plays end to end and you get to scroll around, you have a real-time caption. And so, of course, you can put this into theater mode, which makes the video even bigger. This is our default view, or go nuts and they can go into full screen. Okay. So when I have this, it's really just as simple as sharing this link that I have up here. I would just share this in an email and say, hi, customer, thank you so much for your question. Here's the answer. And maybe I'm okay keeping in the off-the-cuff stuff where I redo it a few times. Cool. So right now, I've just published a video page, which is our screen share and our caption. What's also cool is I could send this to the customer, and you notice on the right how it has comments, an area for people to comment. The customer could actually make a question, like let's say they're confused about this section. When I send it to them, they could actually comment, and of course, they need a Descript account. Just to add a comment, a free account is fine, but we require a Descript account, so normal random trolley people can't just hop on and comment on your stuff. So this is a great way to kind of share content and then have them comment on it. And this is your own private page. You will both see these comments and can interact with each other on this support question or this request. Okay, so now at this point, you're thinking, well, Jay, you made a lot of mistakes. This wasn't your finest piece of work. You've done some good screen recordings. I've been part of these webinars before, but this screen recording needed some touching up. So let me zoom into my Descript screen. I will close this window. Let me put Descript back to a normal size on my monitor. There we go. And stop screen sharing. And I will just screen share the Descript window so you can all stop squinting. Very good. Cool. So I actually want to edit this video. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new project. So I'm just going to say new project in Descript. I want to call this the how to add captions video. Okay, dismiss these. And for those of you who are just tuning in, I'm not only showing you how to add captions to video, but the overall context is a customer wrote in, they had this question, how do you add captions to video? How do you export an SRT file? So rather than typing out the answer, I used Descript's screen recording tool to record the answer. And now I want to edit that because I want to put it on our help center. So at Descript, we use Zendesk, not only for customer support, but also for managing our help center, help.descript.com, which is a fantastic website should you have any questions or need additional information. But I digress. We actually want to add this link to our help center. So what I'm going to do is actually edit this video. So I'm going to hover over the recent things that I've edited, and I'm going to click on the edit button in the Descript app. And then I'm going to just say add to project. That happened on a different monitor. You didn't see it happened. But basically, just like that, here we go. Here is what I screen recorded. I will just add in a speaker label called J. And let me just hit the tab key so you can explore what's going on. Actually, I'm going to put the video on the top. I like it better there right now. So to do that, I'm going to click on the workspaces button on the bottom right and just say more video and then put it on the top. I'm going to go for it. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to restart this. Hi, thanks so much for your question about how to add captions to your. Lovely, lovely, Jay. Now, on my screen and maybe on your screen, the render of the screen recording looks a little blurry right now. Rest assured, it captured in full 1080p, HD, super high res, whatever you want to call it. This is just the high-speed render, so that way it doesn't bog down your system, and this recording screen improve over time. Clicking on fancy captions and clicking on this inspector, I can actually adjust what they look like. All right, so very cool. So we have our screen recording and I have me talking. Captions, in Descript we call them fancy captions. All right, that's seemed like it's a good place. Now here I can very easily do a couple things. First, I can see that here I started out, here I had another section. I really started here. So I'm just going to select the text. The magic of Descript is when you make a selection, we automatically align it to what you're saying in the audio and the video. So by selecting these first two tracks, it's going to make the selection in the audio and the video. I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to do these next few steps quickly to try to show you how quick I can make this happen. I'm going to skim down at the end. Remember at the end, I had that awkward ending. My video export is basically done. There you go, dear customer. Thank you for your question. So that's kind of awkward. Video export is done. I'm just going to do thank you for your question. So just click here, like that, hit the delete key, basically done. Thank you for your question, and I hope this helps you out. Hope this helps you out. The transcription got it a little wrong. I'm going to tighten up some of the timing. So you see there's some gaps here on the bottom. I'll make this waveform a little bigger. All I have to do is click on the word, drag it to the left, and that shortens the gap between sentences. Basically done. Thank you for your question, and I hope this helps you out. Okay, so obviously if there's other times like here, I need it. That's just some dead air. Now I could click on this button and then drag this to the left to shorten it. I want to show you another trick. This is something that I do all the time. I remove word gaps. So you would click on this wrench icon here, say shorten word gaps. So word gaps are these long pauses where you might not be talking. In a screen recording, they might be where you're not talking because you're hunting for a menu item. In a demo like this, they might be, I'm waiting for something to render and it's just kind of a dead air while it goes on. You can usually safely remove those. and they're non-destructive. And what non-destructive means is you can do this action. Not only can you Command Z or Control Z on Windows to undo it, but you can actually go into the individual edits and trim those out. So what I mean by that, let's look at this. Let's say anything in this composition longer than 2 seconds is dead air, and I'll shorten this to 0.2 seconds. Okay, so I could click on it and look at what it looks like. Put it up a little bit higher. Yeah, that's great TV, Jay. So that I actually want to remove definitely those that are longer than 2 seconds and shorten those. Click on Apply All, and there we go. 5 word gaps were now shortened. So this is kind of automating the behavior of searching for those dead silences. Maybe like this one too. Sometimes I just export both when I don't know what a platform internet. So you can just here I was just, I don't know, rambling. So just delete that, tighten this up a little, drag it to the left. Another thing that I want to do, I actually didn't share my video on here. So one of the things I want to do maybe is remove my filler words. I'm getting a lot better at not saying and ah, but you can all look at this transcript and see a few delightful ums and ahs in here. So if I wanted to, with one click, I could right click on here, right click on the filler word. Like I said, click on the filler word and then right click on it. And then an option for remove filler words pops up. Another way of doing it would be to click on this wrench icon and say remove filler words. The third way of doing it, I told you about the conductor, to just say Command K, start typing filler words. That will pop up as an option. So anytime you want to get somewhere, there's usually a couple different ways in Descript to do it. I could choose to delete the audio without affecting the video. So let's say I didn't want my mouse, I wanted my mouse to kind of smoothly move around and I wanted my webcam to keep going. I could keep that as an option by just clicking this, and it would just basically mute the audio whenever you have a filler word. It's a really effective technique. Or you could just delete the audio entirely. And by doing that, I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. Now we have all these 12 little edits. You wouldn't even know they're there. A few ways of doing it. If you want them to appear on Instagram, the best way to do it would be Command K. Now Command K, if you're not familiar with it, is out. Okay. I'm just going to undo that. I want to keep it a little more natural. Maybe I'll remove a few of them here or there. I'll remove maybe this one. And yeah, I'll do this one, click on ignore, apply. So you don't have to do all of them. You could do one if you would like to. So I've got this. I've removed my filler words. I've shortened some word gaps. I maybe want to, let's actually start mock up the video a little bit more. Hi, thanks for your question about how this is going on our help center. I actually want a quick little video on here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag from off the screen. We have this little animation that we use for all Descript videos. I'm going to put it, and you can see I've dragged it from off the screen. Descript is highlighting it. I'm going to drag it on whatever word I want it to appear in. So now I just let go of the mouse button, and now my video is here. If I hit the tab key to start playing. Hi, thanks for your question about how to add captions to a video. So this is a little animation that we have. We always then use this with a title. So I'll just say insert title. So I just did Command K, type the word title. And then what I would do is just say, call that adding captions, make this font a little bit smaller. And then I want it to appear on my intro animation. So I'm just going to move this down a layer. What you're looking at, you've seen this in many different like video editing solutions, also things like Photoshop, anything that has layers. So whatever's on the top is going to be the most visible. In this case, I have a caption, or sorry, I have something which is called the title. And this title basically is on top of everything else. So then I have captions. I don't have a background color. So this will just show through into whatever's beneath it. And then the layer below that is my intro video. So now let me hit tab. Thanks for your question about how to add captions. Cool. So let me just start this video a little bit later. Question about how to add captions. I'll have it start there. And then I actually want the captions themselves to be scooched over a little bit. And here we go. Add captions to a video. As you can go back to the beginning. Hi, thanks for your question about how to add captions to a video. As you can see right here, we're in Descript, and this is, and then I want the title to fade out. So I'm just going to trim this back. This little trimmer tool, I can, same with audio or video, just adjust the length of it. And then if I go to the top, I can actually put a little fade. If it's video, it's actually a dissolve. So now I'll hit the tab key right here. We're in Descript, and this is very cool. I'll put a little dissolve on this video too. Right here, we're in Descript, and this is, all right. Now the bottom layer is the video. So you can see a thumbnail on top of the waveform, which is what the bottommost track is. If there's some reason and you do want to detach this audio from the video, you can just right click on this and say detach audio. And then that will split the video into its own track and audio into its own track. I don't want to do that because for me, my narration, my voiceover is part of the experience. And as I'm editing things, editing out filler words, editing sentences, I just want this all to be nice and tight. Okay. Hang in there. So we're in a good place. I'm seeing my screen recording. Let's say for now, I'll skip right over that. What I want to show you is how to add captions to this. So there's a few ways of doing it. If you want them to appear on Instagram, the best way to do it would be to select all and then do Command K. So let's say this part, I actually want to zoom in to show people what's going on to the conductor. Ironically, I'm going to use the conductor to tell Descript to zoom into the conductor in my screen recording of the conductor. So I hit Command K. I'm just going to type in what I want it to do, which is to zoom and pan on the script track. The script track is the track with the script on it that has my words. So that's kind of helps make sense of what's going on. If there was another track that you would dragged in, you could zoom on a different layer as well. All right, so I've clicked on zoom. Now look at the bottom. You'll notice this green little region. I didn't notice that the first few times I've used it. This green region is how long the zoom lasts. But you can also notice it here in the clip properties or the cue properties of it in the inspector. The inspector, it's these little sliders on the right, similar to an inspector in Photoshop or any other tool that you use to inspect things. You just click on that and you can see these two keyframes. So keyframe is a point in time when something happens. So at keyframe number 1, basically your screen recording is 50-50 in the middle of the screen and its scale is 100%. Keyframe number 2, I can click on keyframes 1 and 2, and you can see at the top of the screen what that zoom will look like, or a preview of what it would look like. So now I can click on keyframe number 2, and I could say, yeah, I actually want to zoom way in to what the conductor looks like, and maybe shift it down a little bit on the screen. So now let's preview what that looks like. I'm just going to click a few words behind, hit the tab key. The best way to do it would be to select all and then do Command K. Now Command K, if you're not familiar with it, is our wonderful keyboard shortcut that basically does everything. That's the conductor. So you just tell Descript what you want it to do, such as insert captions. In Descript, we call them fancy captions. Nothing. Okay, so while I'm already zoomed in, thank you for watching that. Insert captions. So let's say people commonly don't see that thing autocomplete. Sorry, I hit my mic. That thing autocomplete on the screen. Here's an example of me wanting to insert a rectangle. So if I want to, let's just say insert rectangle, that's what it's called. Insert rectangle finds the point in the script that you want it to happen, such as insert captions. Here is my rectangle. Here's what it'll look like. You can adjust all sorts of things like what it looks like. I think that looks fine. And now I can also adjust how long it is by just going on the script track down here. So preview what that looks like with the zoom. Want it to do, such as insert captions. In Descript, we call them fancy captions. Nothing but the fanciest for everybody here. And the last thing I want to do, I want to zoom back out so you can see the rest of the screen. Right around this point would be great. So I will just do another zoom event. I'll help type zoom, and then keyframe number 1 starts at the previous zoom level. Keyframe number 2, I'm going to go back to 50, 50, 100 for my scale, and then here's our zoom out. Everybody here. Now you already see a captions bar appearing. Now, very cool. So if I were to do this in real life, I would do this very, very quickly. I would remove filler words. I would shorten word gaps. I would trim out what I want. Maybe as a fun challenge, if we have time at the end, I'll see how fast I can do it. I want to explain everything to you and show you what I'm doing. But you can see how not only easy it is, but kind of fun to go through. Just put in your intro, your company's intro animation. Put in things like zooms, insert rectangles to call things out. And then when you get to the very end, just sitting in my downloads folder, and then and that's very kind of straightforward to do. Okay, so now that I have this, let's say I want this for our help center, and I'm going to get to questions in like 1 second. Let me show you how to get this out of Descript. Now, a couple ways. So first off, we have this great video, and we have our transcripts, and we have our captions. I could create a publish page just like I did before. So remember that thing I had before where the video was on top and we had the transcript on the bottom. So one option could be I could create that page, and we could actually just link that page from our help center. So you can watch the video and see the transcript of somebody walking through it. Why not? And great. So that page is going to be published. I'll open that up in a separate tab. Takes about a minute or 2 for that video to render because this was about a 1 to 2 minute long screen recording. It's a little faster than real time, but that's still going to crank in the background. What I could also do is, fun fact I should have showed you, if I want to, I could take that video. When I hit publish, I could log on to the Descript YouTube account, press this button. It would ask me for my YouTube information. And then there you go. Now I have actually just contributed an article directly to the YouTube page on Descript. I could also send it out via Twitter. In my example, I actually want to export this out as a video. So I'm going to go through these usual steps. Export, composition. That looks fine. Export, I'll say captions. And then I will also export out the subtitles as a BTT file. To add captions. Great, done. And the third thing I might want to actually do is export out the text, because I might want to write a help center article that goes through these steps. Why type them from scratch? I already have them here. So then I would just export out the transcript and how to add captions. Great. And so now I have my subtitles, my text as it appears on the screen. What I should have done is gone into correct text mode and actually made a few adjustments, such as fixing the word hi, fixing any typos that might have occurred, any punctuation and things like that. All right, so my video is exporting, and also my subtitles are ready to go. So what I would do after this, I would log into our Wistia account. So Wistia is actually a place that we use to host all the videos that go on our help center. I would upload the video. It's boring to watch someone else upload the video, so just hang with me. Upload the video, and then I would also, in Wistia, there's a place to upload captions. I would upload my SRT or my VTT files, and then now when I put that in my help center, I have my beautiful, polished video with subtitles on. So the last thing I actually could do, I could actually burn in these subtitles, so that way if I am using a player and maybe I don't want to have to rely on SRT or VTT, we would just select all, and I would say, all right, that was just me selecting all. I would say Command K, insert captions, and then we'll do a black background, white text. We can put it on Instagram, but if you want to put it on YouTube, YouTube supports the SRT files, so the VTT files. There we go. So just click on Export, Subtitles, and here you can see SRT and VTT. These are both very common. You get all of my ums and ahs in real time. I could go back and now I could actually remove those. But if I wanted to burn them in, I would basically just add the fancy captions and then re-export this video. Okay. I always say I'm going to take questions earlier, and then I get so excited going through this that I forget to look at what time it is. So I'm back. I'm paying attention again. Sorry about that. And let's do some questions on what you have seen so far. Let me hide a few things, and I can actually see what you're saying. Okay, cool. Lee, will Jay do an overdub demo with this edit? I'm getting black screen when I use overdub with screen recordings. Lee, so many great questions embedded in what you are saying. So, great. Let me do that. So, I've burned in my subtitles. So this is where we left off. Let me say what overdub is. Overdub is our speech synthesis or speech generation technology. And this is available as part of our Descript Pro plan. And there's two ways that most people use overdub. The first is to generate their own voice double. So if you have a nice microphone in a pretty decent room, with as little as 10 minutes of yourself speaking, you can actually create your own voice double. So let's say I was going through here to set my, so I actually went through this process. Fun fact, I don't know what it's going to sound like because I actually am in a different room than I recorded my voice double. But because Lee wants to know, let's find out. So as long as you select a speaker label that has an overdub voice associated with it, to do that, I'm just going to click on Edit Speakers. We'll do that a little more slowly this time. Click on the Edit, click on the speaker label, scroll to the very bottom and click on Edit Speakers. Here you can see so speaker name, this is just what it appears like in the transcript or in the subtitles. That's all that means. Overdub voice is what is the name of the overdub voice model that you've built for it. So again, I've created my own overdub voice. Now I have a few other options here because I work as part of a team where people have shared their voices with me. We treat security and the ethics piece of this very seriously. So you own your overdub voice. No one can use your overdub voice without your permission. You can revoke that permission at any time. Anyway, I feel very strongly about this. So here's my overdub voice. I'm clicking on go for it. So let's say I have a question. And of course, there's our speaker labels, so you could adjust who is speaking and when they're speaking. So let's say that, and of course, there's our speaker labels, so you could adjust who is speaking. Let's say they're not actually called speaker labels, they're called Lee's speaker labels. Right at you, Lee. So what I'm going to do is say Command D, and then type in what you want overdubs to say. So this is going to generate new voice of you saying it. And I'm actually just going to type in the whole phrase here. And I'll remove my my other self saying speaker labels and just hit delete. So now this rendered me saying the phrase. Of course, there's our Lee speaker labels, so you could adjust who is speaking. That didn't sound as natural to me. It's because my voice model was actually created in a different room than I'm in now. But Lee's point is, while this is going on, there's actually a black screen here. And it's because you have created basically new audio that isn't linked up to existing video. So a couple of ways that you could go about doing this. First, I'm going to undo this, and undo this, and undo this. There we go. It looks like we're back to normal, where I just had, of course, there's our speaker labels, so you could adjust who is speaking and when. So let's say I wanted to add in, something here saying like, thanks for your question, Lee. Normally I could just type that in, but if I type that in, it's going to generate all this black text. So this is a case where you would actually go in, flying without a net here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say detach audio. And so by detaching the audio, I now have my audio and my video on separate tracks. And they're stored in a sequence. So let me click on edit sequence. And now you can see these two things labels. Separately. So you could adjust who is speaking and when they're speaking, right? So now I could individually adjust things here. So let's say, Lee, I want to add in, let's put at the end of the sentence, I want to add in myself saying, thanks for your question, Lee, on with the program. Now I can kind of type that in. It's going to generate that. Let's give that a second. Click on the word when to go back a second. When they're speaking, thanks for your question, Lee, on with the program. For now, and now I'm going to convert this new sentence, convert it to audio. Convert it to audio basically just renders it down as a WAV file. And then now I can actually go in the sequence. For now, I'll skip right and when they're speaking. For now, let's see if I can find where I left off. Speaking, thanks for your question. So these do not appear in the sequence. So if I wanted to, I would then just break these out. Great question, Lee. Do me a favor. I want to follow up on the best way to do this, which is not as hacky as I'm making it look right now. We do these live. I often try to answer questions that I have no business answering, and it's fun. I want to show you guys to see me struggle as much as you might struggle sometimes with new tools that you're using. So I will get back to you on that. Drop us a note on how we can reach you, and then I will actually send you a screen recording of how the heck to do this. That is a challenge, and I'm not happy with that answer. So let's put a question on the screen that I am happy with. Sorry about that, Lee. I'll get you a good answer. Hey, Maddie, I love it if there was a way to teach the transcription algorithm something it always gets wrong, such as rendering my name Maddie instead of Maddie. Is there any way to do that? The short answer is no, but we hope that is coming very soon. If you actually go on the feedback page for Descript, so it's feedback.descript.com. Descript is kind of like no other company I've ever been a part of, where we actually look at the feature requests that come in and use that to drive a good portion of our product roadmap. This one, I think it's under glossary is what we call it. And a transcription glossary is something that is very commonly requested. My last name is always misspelled. Ironically, Descript is often misspelled. So this is going to be a feature that is going to be back on quite a bit. Okay, cool. Get the balance right. Can you show yourself on the screen as you're explaining what you're showing on the screen? Absolutely. The way that you would do that, in fact, I will just do that right now. I'm going to share my different screen. I'm going to share desktop number 1, where you can see my notes. Don't peek, everybody. So I'm going to click on the Descript screen recorder. I'm going to turn on my my FaceTime camera. Hi, how's it going? Down here. And then start screen recording. Select part of the screen. Hi, everybody. This is me demoing on the screen. Okay, now I stopped. And now you can see the little thing down here that shows what we're looking at. And I can actually click on that and to open it in a web browser. And then this is what I really look like. There you go. Next time I will turn that functionality on. Okay. Now I'm sharing the screen of me sharing the screen of sharing the screen. I will go back. Chris will put another question on in our remaining time, or comments. I take comments too. That image caption thing is pretty sweet. I totally agree. And I also want to bring something up, Chris. Lee said, my guess is there should be a way to drop a freeze frame in there to cover the black section. I actually wanted to demo freeze frame. In my demo, I couldn't find a good thing to freeze frame. So let's say, there we go. Let's say this window, I dismissed this window, and me showing these two things on the top of the screen. Let's say I dismissed that too quickly. So what I want to do is click in the text where you want to have a freeze frame, hover down into the waveform, and just right click and say add freeze frame. So we're going to add this freeze frame in here, which is going to freeze the frame. It's basically a still image. So let's see if I can make this a little bigger so you can all see what's going on. I'm going to export it as an MP4 video. All these settings look good. Because I detached the video. Let me undo a bunch of stuff. Undo, open sequence, undo, open sequence, undo, convert. This would be a good time to show you how to go back in time. So you see the name of the project here. Rather than undoing like 15 more times to get back to what I want to do, click View Version History. Descript, like a Google Doc, has infinite version history. And by that, there are some projects I've seen that NPR does that have version 7,892. So infinite version history. I'm going to just revert back to, let's say, 12 minutes ago before I started, go restore captions. And there you go. Now we are back in time. I'm going to get rid of these fancy captions. They're just going to distract me. And let's say, here we are. When this screen pops up, I want a freeze frame to appear. I'm going to right click on it, say add freeze frame. And there we go. Now you can see. So these are burned. Watch the video. Freeze frame has appeared. Now there's no audio because we've inserted this freeze frame. Export this video because you said you wanted to put it on Instagram. And let's say you want the freeze frame to actually be frozen, but the audio to continue. What I would expect to happen is I can click on this and drag it up. I have dragged it up and it did what I hoped it would. It made it its own track. So now, because that's on top, my freeze frame will be on top of everything else. So let's just watch this and make sure it behaved as you expect. These are burned in. All you need to do now is actually see the words amazing this video, because you said you wanted to put it on Instagram. So I would click and then back to normal. So with that, you can actually keep your audio going, and I'll do one more like here. But yes, this is great. Want to show those screens, add freeze frame, take that freeze frame. Maybe its default is 6 seconds, make it a little shorter. Like I said, make it a little shorter. Double click on it, drag it up to promote it to a different track. And crash Descript. So what I hope to do once every time that I'm using the app after not rebooting my system for a week is show you what happens. So in most demos, we would pretend this didn't happen. If this does happen, nothing bad happens. Don't freak out. This is basically like a Chrome tab where it seems like it's stuck. You go under the View menu in Descript. Everything is backed up to the cloud. You click on Reload. So when we click on Reload, it basically just refreshes all the windows. It's the main reason that it crashes. It's not something horrible. It's just some graphical bug happened. And you're like, oh my God, you lost all your data. Expand your sidebar, go back to your composition. And here we are, exactly where we were. Just got to find where our rectangles were, our freeze frames. So you can see all of our freeze frames are here. Here was our second freeze frame where it says composition, and we're good to go. All right, great questions. Thanks for letting me fly without a net. What other questions, if any, do we have? I'm being kicked out. The webinar is over. Thank you, Chris, for keeping us on time. Hey, if you can remove the thanks for joining us banner, I would love to share our Discord link for this community. So you have all been pretty awesome. You've joined for a full hour of me flying without a net, improving, and not feeling like I'm talking to a wall. So thank you for your help on this. I would love to keep the conversation going, and this would be a great place to ask questions of the user community. Maybe people have found more ingenious solutions than I can figure out. And that's going to be the best way for you to get answers. So join this community. It's still pretty new. You're going to get in at the ground level, introduce yourself, show us the work that you've made with Descript, ask questions, comments, anything like that. The other thing I want to show you before we break is how you, if you post questions there and you're not getting the support you need, I want to show you the support center. So just click on the question mark at the bottom right of the Descript screen. Here you can see all of your keyboard shortcuts. So definitely take the time to invest and learn these. Pretty cool stuff. And then also if you click here, you can open up the Help Center. Chris will show you what happens when I open the Help Center. It pops up a screen that looks like this. You can type in the search bar and get answers to your most common questions. I will have a captions video uploaded pretty soon that we created in today's webinar. And then if we still can't solve your question with our Help Center, click on Submit a Support Request. It'll look like this, and then you can tell us how we can help you. So a couple of tools for you. The Help Center, submitting a support request, and of course, the Discord community. Now we can thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you one more time this year, next Tuesday, and then we'll start with a whole new suite of live events in 2021 because this year is about done.